The election may have been a humbling one for Democrats, to use President Obama's own description, but our next guest doesn't expect attitudes about business to change very much at the White House. Joining us right now is Michael Aronstein, president of Marketfield Asset Management. So, Mike, it's not a new day when it comes to business in Washington, or is it?
I'm not certain. You know, the president is a tough fellow to read. I've contended for some time that his take on what was ailing the private sector was incorrect, and I thought his approach to the mechanism of economics and macroeconomic policy was wrong. And whether or not he would sit down and listen with an open mind and maybe change his opinion about some of these things, I don't really know. Can
Republicans push it, though, now that they have a greater presence, if you will, especially in the House?
Well, I think certainly they can introduce some of these initiatives, but the president ultimately has to sign on the bottom line, and I think he is going to have to really change the basic perspective from which he views business and the economy in order to agree with some of the more, what I would consider, expansionary aspects of the Republican platform.
By the way, your kind of bearish take on the president and this administration doesn't affect your more bullish take on the market. And you've been right here. We've had obviously last year was pretty good. We've had an incredible September and October. Why are you bullish on the markets when you're so concerned that the administration is doing all the wrong things?
Well, I think that American business, spent pretty much a decade restructuring itself, and you can't look at the economy from a parochial standpoint now. We're in an economy, we're in a world where the integration of economic forces is proceeding much more rapidly, I think, than either policymakers or even investors are understanding. And in that sense, I think I've said to people that just looking at domestic economic statistics in a vacuum and sort of treating the market as though it's a big video game responding to the daily sort of prognosis out of the Census Bureau and the Department of Commerce is really missing the point. We're in an integrating planet where the forces that are unleashed by people's desire to better themselves are really beyond control at this point of governments.
All right, hey, Michael, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate getting your take. Michael Aronstein there, president of Marketfield Asset Management.